Okay, I guess we're we're online now. The mute is gone. So anyhow, if you're there and you can hear me, please let me know that if the sound is okay. Sometimes this microphone thingy has a static, not so clear. So let me know if you can hear it clearly. And please don't all of you answer me at the same time. We know we're a little bit away from our usual Saturday schedule. However, we're here. So if you have questions, you can fire up. I'll do my best to answer it. But first, let me know if you can hear me. But of course, before that, we need someone there. So if you're not there, don't worry about responding. And if you are, well, help me out because I'm looking foolish right now. And it looks like I'm talking to myself. So, um, first, let me know if you can hear me well, if it's crisp and clear, or if there's statics involved. Now, Iro, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So someone is here. Huh? I can hear just, okay, great. That's a good news. At least I can pretend that I wasn't talking to the air and there was someone there. It's just not visible. I mean, I can say there's a glitch on my counter here. I couldn't see it. Glad to hear that. And Mike Nelson is here. Says, yeah, can I hear? Okay, good. So we have a whopping 4 people here, and 2 has graciously answered me. And the other 2, don't be shy. I won't buy. Come on, come on. If you have a question, please throw it out. I'll be here for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. So welcome to ask your questions. Many people around the world, they keep sending me questions and ask me to answer. And there's so many that I really can't physically sit down and answer comments one at a time, which I have done for the past 13 years. However, when you have a specific answer that needs lots of typing back in form of comment, it's not really efficient, nor is it convenient, time consuming. That's why I have the live streams, so you guys can come in and ask your questions. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's what it is for. Otherwise, it'll be very cumbersome to answer all questions on comments, especially there's no interactiveness in it. I can't get more information that I need to answer you properly. And if you actually wanted to have more discussion, what you can do. You can go on my site, mind.seekstruth.com, mind that seeks truth.com, and you can register for an hour consultation. And usually for the newcomers, first time clients, add another 20 minutes to half an hour to our first session. So we won't have to rush, and we can take our time, get to know the topic, situation, and concerns, and we'll deal with it one-on-one on Skype. All right, having said all that, any questions, you can feel free to fire it out. Stephen is here. Hi, Miran. Hello, Stephen. Good to see you, dear. Are you at work? Stephen, male, 42, Los Angeles. Thank you very much for that. I will remember we have a little protocol. Same thing with Mike, if you will. We appreciate to know your age, gender, where you tuning in from, just like what Stephen did. Male, M for male, 42 age, and Los Angeles. And Mike says, I've been tapering off and which issue is bad. Well, Mike, there are over, 1,000 videos on the topic of OCD and HOCD on my channel alone. And you're welcome to browse through them and find the titles. Just put in HOCD, see how many videos come out, and then see which one is relevant to your question you might have at that moment, and then watch that one. Or furthermore, you can simply go to my site, mind@seekstruth.com, make an appointment. We'll have a one-on-one discussion on all your questions. And Iro says, well, I do have a question. This is a bit of background. I've come to your channel from your son's channel. I've been a big fan of Star Wars, and then his Theory Talks channel. Show you on his channel a few weeks ago. Says, I'm 23, male from Texas. Howdy. I speak Texan. Last time I was in Texas, I was in 2007. I think I was in Houston. It was humid like hell, but it was interesting. I was invited to a wedding of a client of mine, and I had a good experience. It was a nice little hotel I had booked in, and I didn't get a chance to meet people because it was just a quick in and the ceremonies, and then a couple of days later, it was like a 2-3 day thingy, and I was gone. But I've heard a lot about Texas, and I wish to have some real good time to enjoy seeing the sceneries and meet the people and so on. I did actually participate in a convention years ago for some marketing business I was doing. And I enjoyed that time very much. Actually, I did interact with people because in the show there are lots of people. I love the accent. The accent is amazing, especially when girls talk with their Texan accent. It's just amazing. So now let's see if you have a question. And your question is, I've actually been meaning to get on Nia's live stream and ask him. I've been unsure of if I wanted to ask because of the nature of the question and don't want to get him canceled, as I'm sure you. All right. I wait for the next part of the question. It says, I'm sure you are aware certain things discussed online that are seen as controversial. Well, yeah, to some people it's controversial, to others it's very clear that. But since these days the social narratives or the governmental controls is against anything that is clear, wants to make everything ambiguous and confusing the hell. So that's why they're promoting untruthfulness in a way, or unclearness in a way, and they just want to make everything seem that everything is hunky-dory. Doesn't matter what. It's all the way they should be promoting everybody to become. And to me, it's just unfortunate that people trying to, instead of dealing with issues and learning from the scientific values and philosophical values and cultural values and understanding their own inner movement of psyche and fixing and helping to repair what's going wrong in their psyche, they try to just make believe that, oh, it's all normal. Well, who's normal in this world? Nobody. But at least we can have a little understanding of how the glitches happen and how we can help it to get back to its default setting. Brilliant people such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, many other scientists, psychologists, psychotherapists, neuroscientists, neurosurgeons have spent years and elaborately experiments in laboratories and written articles on the topics of how they can help the mind, the brain. The mind and brain are different. I'm just using in the same context here, just for the purpose of our discussion. It can be getting out of the glitch and rewiring it through neuroplasticity, and so helping it to repair itself. However, if they want to ignore and just believe everything that is going wrong, then might as well announce diarrhea is normal. You always wanted to have a diarrhea. You just didn't know about it. Now you can see, but it is. Well, that's what you are. Oh, no, it's a glitch. It's a bug. You got to clean it up. So now, having said that, preemptively, let me see what is your question. Ira says, glad to hear you came to Houston. I'm actually from Houston myself. Close to the NRG stadium where they have the rodeos. Horses are my other passion. I have competed as an equestrian, won many championships, national championships, one major event when actually Jean-Michel Gaud, the Olympic gold medalist, was also one of the participants with his friend from France. And they got the best horses from the Royal Horse Society, the top jumpers. And I had a regular horse. My horse was 18 years old. And just about a month before, I had won the national championship with that horse at one of the toughest competitions you could say in the world, the way that the obstacles were set. But that particular night, my best horse had a problem with his hands because they were traveled through a army truck, not those springy trucks that is good for the horse's knees and hoofs and all that. I mean, legs. And so for 800 kilometers, I traveled in there. So my horse's legs were really uncomfortable. That night, he was rearing and things that he never did, and I was expelled from that turn. So I had to go back to my second choice, which was a pony. Of all people, it was a pony size, but it had a heart of a gold. This horse, that's why Colonel had brought him to the competition. And so he said, jump on that one. I register you for that on the next round, and you come in with the second horse. And I beat everybody but those two top horses who was being ridden by that gold, Olympic gold medalist, Jean-Michel Gault. So I got third. They got first, second, I got third with that little horse. So things to do with the horses always is interesting. Their power, their passion, their cooperation, communication with the human being. Of course, I have to say, you know, the rodeo kind of cramps my style because I don't like to see horses to be, you know, under pressure and, you know, kind of, you know what I'm trying to say. But anyhow, let's move on. That's your national sports, and I don't want to cast a negative shadow on that. But, you know, as much as it's very interesting and I've enjoyed it through my youth watching it, but when you become a little more compassionate toward, you know, loving horses. Horses for me is like I see a member of my family. I see horses like my relative there somewhere. So I kind of, you know, have that, you know, gravitation toward protecting them in a way. We weren't even allowed to use whips or spears when we would do our show jumping. It was very communicative and pretty much non-invasive in a way. Now, having said all that, let's, meanwhile, back in the ranch, Iro says, close to NRG Stadium where they have the rodeo. So anyways, he says, the question is about the whole LGBTQ1A plus phenomenon that has become much more prevalent in our society. So I have a cousin who was born a female, adopted from Russia at 18 months. So a Russian girl was adopted by your family. And he says now she's 24 and in childhood has been diagnosed with ADHD. Then later on anxiety and depression. Had gotten tested for Austin. Tested for Austin. Autism, do you mean? And just all in all, has a number of issues that may be important for the question. She blames her mom, my aunt, okay. Her dad left when she was 5 and hasn't been around a lot. Blamed her mom for about everything and most of her shortcomings in life. She now, like I mentioned, is 24 and has only worked one job at Party City for 3 weeks, then quit and hasn't worked since then. All right. So far, so good. I understand. I'll await the rest of the question. And Ira says, I'll pause here real quick to make sure if it's okay to continue. Yeah, go ahead. I'll try to make my answer, if possible, without being canceled. And if I couldn't respond to it, well, then perhaps you would like to get in touch with me through my site and have a little short session, and we'll discuss it one-on-one on Skype. But I'll try to be diplomatic and maybe use proper words to address what the question may be. But so far, I don't see any problem with it. So I've been wondering what to do about this for a while now. But I know there may be others who have questions. Let me know and I will. It says, get to my question. I was trying to provide a bit of back. Okay, sure. Now go ahead with the question, because I don't see any problem with it. And if I see there's something that I shouldn't, or whatever the hell these days, the idea of I can't or I shouldn't talk about something that is a part of a discussion is actually absurd. But I guess we got to do what we got to do. So throw in the question. I'll see if I can go around it or answer it in such a way that it would be a little bit meaningful. And otherwise, I'll tell you, just contact me through my site, and then we'll have a little session and discuss it. And Ira says, sounds good. Says, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to make some tea and we'll be back to ask in 5 minutes. And by all means, if you don't feel comfortable, not uncomfortable, if you don't feel uncomfortable with the answer, I tell you, okay, sure, go ahead. Not a problem. In the meantime, while you make your tea, I go to the other questions, because I think I was busy reading that. Okay. Tim says, Tim 19, male, England, says, hi, Mehran, do you think rejection is good? I haven't talked to a girl because I'm fearing rejection. I know logically there is nothing to lose aside embarrassment. You have to be rejected. You're a man. We're designed to be rejected. Who hasn't been rejected in this world? Which man has not been rejected by a woman because he liked her and she wasn't interested? It doesn't mean you're any bad or good if a girl is interested or not interested. It doesn't mean you're not good looking or you don't have pleasant attributes or important qualifications and amazing qualifications if certain girl doesn't want to go out with you. It just means that girl cannot appreciate this quality. Simple. Just imagine if someone goes into a jewelry store and a jewelry person or jewelry salesman, the jeweler, puts in front of him or her 3-4 exact similar design and similar look of jewelries, rings, whatever it is. Only the difference is one of them is brilliant diamond with diamond cut. The other one is cubic zirconium. The other one is crystal. And the other one is glass. All cut in the same way. All light shines through them same way. All look beautiful. Now, if he or she chooses the cubic zirconium or the crystal or the glass and not the brilliant, not the actual diamond, does that diminish the diamond's value? No, it doesn't. It just means that person can't tell the difference, or its limitation to a tasteful design or quality of a jewelry is too limited to cubic. That's sufficient for her or him. Doesn't have the ability to appreciate such high quality of a diamond. So in a way, is oblivious to such qualities. So that's on him or her, not on the diamond. Diamond doesn't get devalued because he wasn't chosen. It just means that this person is maybe, a little bit on the idiot side, especially if they're all being offered at the same price, just as a social experiment. Or they're just not told the price yet. They just say which one you like most. If he or she chooses anything but the actual diamond, it doesn't take away from the diamond's qualities and values and its classification in the world of industry or, you know, finances or whatever it is, the collateral or whatever it is that one wants to use it. So having said that, this is how you should be thinking about yourself. You get rejected, so you get rejected. What does it do? Your dick falls off or what? What happens? Your ear gets longer? What? Nothing happens. You lose your hair? No. You know, especially if like me, I already don't have it. So no problem. I'm all ready to go. Reject away. And if you're a man, you just want to be rejected because every time you're rejected, you're one step closer to the actual one that says yes. That's the law of sales in a way. You offer something you have to sell, you know, you want to buy this? No. You want to buy this? No. You want to buy this? No. You got to have maybe 10 or 20 no's, but there will be somebody who buys. And until you get rid of these no's in the way, you won't get to the one who wants to buy, but you got to show it to everybody. Same thing. You like a girl, you ask her out, she says no, great, you know, one closer to the one who's going to say yes. The next one, and the next one, the next one. Eventually he says, yeah, I'll go out with you. She says, hallelujah, you got it. So that's part of the game, part of the process of excavating. Like if you're going for gold, you don't find gold the first, dig that you make. It's nothing there. You go on the next. You don't give up until you hit the jackpot. That's how you should look at it. No big deal. Go get rejected. Get used to it. That's what makes you strong. And Stephen says, I feel happy and grateful for everything I have in my life. It makes me feel good. But thinking about how I choose wrong and she didn't appreciate me, it makes me feel kind of down. That means you're a pussy. Because you shouldn't give a shit. You're still at it. And that's the problem. You know, there were two monks who actually went out to find the world out of their monastery. They were away for months. And eventually it was time for them to return back to the monastery. On their way back towards the monastery, of course, they had to walk through the nature and so on, because those days there weren't any, kind of vehicles or buses. So they were walking back through the jungles, through the nature, towards the monastery. It was a few days of walk. So they got to a river that they had to cross this river. And there was a lady there who was scared of the water and wanted to cross, but she couldn't because she was afraid of the water. So the lady asked one of the monks, she said, could you please help me? And the monk says, no problem. She jumped over on top of, his back, and he carried the lady through the river, and they crossed and put the lady down, and the lady went on her business. But the other monk started getting on his case, says, you sinned. How could you allow a woman touch you? How could you give a ride to a woman? How could you let the woman to jump on your back? You have sinned. You're not supposed to be in touch with the female. You're supposed to be celibate, and all these things. And he continued this on for the next 2 days that they were on the way to get to the monastery. Eventually, when they were just 100 few meters, toward the monastery, this other monk turns around and says, listen, I may have sinned, but I sinned for 1 or 2 minutes from this side of the river to the other side to help a woman. But you are sinning for the whole days because you still keep talking about it. So who has sinned more? So you may think that she did this or she didn't. It wasn't a big deal to you because you're turning yourself into a pussy as if it's so important how this girl treats you because that has to do with your identity. Well, you're making a big fuss out of it. Otherwise, that piece of shit who did what she did shouldn't worth anything to you because of the way she behaved with you. It's on her, not on you. You're constantly thinking that her behavior towards you defines you. And that's what's bothering you. Thinking that others define you. They don't. You define yourself. The way you deal with things defines you. The way you live, the way you accomplish, the way you have provided for yourself, the way you have accomplished things you have, as you said, the things that are your blessings, that defines you. But you're stuck on one thing that this piece of work has done, and it's just was unfaithful to you and went away and kept coming back. And all it takes for her is to text you once and you're fucked. That's what defines you, not what she does. The way you react. You cannot stop people from behaving the way they do. They come from different consciousness. They've got different shit in their heads, and they've got different values. They've got different moralities or lack thereof. You cannot stop them to behave the way you expect them to behave, but you have the control how you react to it. And that defines you. That's your shield. I can't stop people from being an asshole or unkind to me if they want to, but I can choose not to be there where I will be not respected or treated as I expect, or I can choose how to react to it as much as I can, at least not as much as you fucking every day of your life and every moment going over, why did she do that? You like to be a victim? I'm saying be a leader. Be your own soldier. And fend things out by your sword and shield and move on. Don't give a shit about who throws shit at you. Move on. Put the shield on, go on. Meaning, ignore it. It doesn't do anything to you. It hasn't done anything to you. What is being done to you is not by her and her action, which was as stupid as it was. It's being done by your own brain. It's a continuous hammering on you to make you feel not good enough. Why? Because a piece of shit treated you like shit. Well, what do you expect from a piece of shit? It will only know how to treat you like a shit because she is piece of shit. So she knows nothing but to deliver shit. She's made out of shit. You got that? Or you want more explanation? All right, let's move on. And Steven says, I blocked her, but then unblocked her. Well, that's on you. Why did you unblock her? Huh? What for? Because you're looking at her mercy. A woman that someone like you behaves in that way, that allows her these chances, will never understand what she has missed or what she has done. Because you constantly allow her to get away with it by actually unblocking her, allowing her to be in contact with you, showing her that she's better than you. Yeah? So think about it. And so she texted on Halloween and I didn't respond. Yeah, I remember that. Then she called me twice. I answered and she was asking me something about she didn't need. Yeah, and she was also talking about the dogs. Yeah. So why are you keep ruminating in your head? What for? You keep talking about this where you have already paid me to discuss this with you. So I'm going to say nothing so you will pay more. That's your punishment. When you put yourself through shit like you do, your punishment is indirect. Now you got to pay me to talk to you and to tell you that, no, she was a piece of shit. Just bring your attention to that. Jesus, what am I doing? Cutting my own tickets here. No, keep on doing it. It's a very important thing. You got to you got to get to the roots of it. Why did she do that? So go ahead, make an appointment, pay for it. Dumb shit. Get a hold of it, Steven. You're going to go to hell like that. And that would be hell you created for yourself. All right. Let's see if we have something here. All right. Esdur. Oh, okay. Esdur. I don't know. That's a nickname or something. It says, hi. I'm so happy to catch you live. Me too. Every morning I check. I'm alive. I'm so happy. Says, you are awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Says, thank you for helping for being available to answer all our questions. My pleasure, dear. See, I'm available, but there's only 13 people here. It should be 1,300. Honestly, if you guys don't promote this channel will die. And the quality that we have here, I assure you, second to none. If you look at the videos that we have on our channel, there's over 3,000 videos on breakups, inner movement of the psyche, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, and all that. When we have on OCD, elaborate library of OCD and OCD subsets, HOCD, intrusive thoughts, repetitive thoughts, and so on and so forth. So this channel needs your support. And the support you can do, among other ways, is by promoting the hell out of this channel in your social medias and chat lines and so on. Let people know that we are here and we want to reach more people to help more people. And Stuart says, okay, he says, I watched your latest video and you're right there. There's no need to mourn a breakup. Yeah, that's right. And let's see if there's any follow-ups. Says, what is the first step to being prepared for meeting someone new? Just put your clothes on and go out. Make sure you put your shoes on too. That's the first step. There's nothing needed to do. Just allow. You see, most of you after a breakup, you have this shield that you now have to justify what you're feeling to this newcomer. You just ruin the whole thing because you're punishing this new person for the crimes that the other one has done in the relationship, instead of not perceiving the person that is approaching you, only observing the person as he or she is. Instead, you look at this new person, bring all other things that went wrong in the other relationship, whether your fault or the other person's fault, doesn't matter. You bring that in your mind and you are seeing this new opportunity with the eye of the past, with the experiences that went on, with all those baggages and defensive modes and expectations right off the bat, without giving this person a chance to show who she or he is. And instead, you're judging it based on what it was and what this is or might be or what it could be, and you just project all that shit in the past on this poor person and hoping that will be good, but you don't know, so you bestow on it as some shit is going to happen in the future, so you just don't want to go out with him or her. So in other words, you're perceiving life and things rather than observing them as they are. You're giving them what they are not and forcing yourself to believe what they are is what you had experienced with somebody else. Now you have to come up with certain kind of a defense mode. So you go in with the wrong attitude. You go in defensively, not openly, to let the person feel comfortable to impress you or introduce himself or herself to you. And instead you're there for judgment. Right off the bat, you're starting this on the wrong foot. And it's going to end up with the same one for different reasons. So instead of living your life a second-hand life, now I explain. When you don't observe things as they are, and when you see them, you interpret them and you see them with the eye of the past, which brings the emotions and the experience of a similar situation in the past, and you impose it on this new situation. Therefore, you cease to see this as it is, and you see it with the information of the past superimposed on it. Let me explain. You see a tree from the far. A tree. No name, no nothing, no picture, no past. A tree, nice. You go forward. Oh, it's an orange tree. Oh, it has oranges on. And now suddenly, oh, my auntie's or uncle's orange tree was a little bit smaller than this, but had bigger oranges. and the oranges were yellow. Now, suddenly, you are seeing this orange tree with the information of your auntie's orange tree in her home. No longer you're here. You've just traveled in the past and brought that information, and no longer you're here. You can't see this orange tree as it is. You're seeing this orange tree with the information of that other orange tree. So you're perceiving this rather than observing this. And then what you saw here is naturally recorded without you noticing it while you were superimposing that other information, that other orange tree on top of this and seeing it with the eye of the past. But you've seen this in a way, not interpreting it for the moment. And then 2 weeks later, you may see another orange tree somewhere else, and you remember this orange tree. So again, you're taking this information, how you experienced with this one, which is naturally recorded in your mind, and you will be perceiving that other orange tree 2 weeks ago. So you're always having a second life, second-hand life. You see this, you're not here. You're with some other experience in the past. You see that one, you're not there. You're using this newer experience 2 weeks ago for understanding that one. So you're always a step behind of the actuality of life. Same thing when you have a relationship you just broke up. And next one, you're not noticing the beauty, the quality, the qualifications, the opportunity of this new person. You're just judging with all the shit that the other experiences with, and you're trying to make sure that none of that happens here, and you grip it tight, and you just let this one just fall apart without really knowing what the hell it was, what was actually entailed of this particular opportunity. And you ruin this relationship. So my advice for you is be open. Whatever it was past is gone, past is dead, does not exist. You don't need to be concerned about it. That other relationship is not going to come and haunt you on this one. You just see what this is. Enjoy that one. Simple. You know, it's no different than you're having a peach and just thinking while you're biting on it, well, you know, the peach I had last year in Uncle's orchard was tastier than this. When you can't even taste this or enjoy this because you're there and you're not really having that taste. You're pretending that you're having this, but you're thinking about that one. So what are you doing? You're ruining the experience of this peach. But instead, if you just focus on the bite you have, good, oh, not so good. Just be present with this one. Even though it might not be as good as the peaches you had before, it will still be more pleasant time spent with this experience of having a peach. Same thing with your date. I hope you get the gist of it. Don't want to make it too philosophical, but I think I delivered what I wanted to. Now, Esther says, by the way, is your hat a Libra sign? Actually, I don't know. Is that a Libra sign? If it is, by accident. While I'm a Libra myself, so it works fine for me. But I didn't know. It was the only hat that would suit my head that day. And so I bought it. But otherwise, no real knowledge about that. But it might, I don't know. You let me know. And so we have, I'll have a hand clap appreciation from Esther. Thank you for that. All right. And let's go back to Ira. Ira says, agreed. Haha. It is very unfortunate for there to be things that we aren't supposed to discuss, because having an open dialogue, I believe, is very important to make progression. Yes, of course. But remember, you guys may be banned, or any of us, to talk about these things on the social medias, but you can always talk among yourselves when you have gatherings or friendly discussions and try to share opinions and views. That's how human beings always advanced. And you can still try to express your understanding or opinion about something, maybe in a words that would be more sensitive, and so it would get the meaning across rather than fluffing or disturbing some feathers. All right. Now, Liam is here. Says the thoughts are going away since I've lost comments. All right, good. Muhammad ABZ says, "Hi, Miran. Hope you're doing well, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And you guys know I'm also on TikTok with the new channel called Truth Seeking Mind. Truth Seeking Mind. And that's all I can say about that because, let's see. That's the channel. Do you guys see it? Is it clear or is it not clear? Not a good catch on the camera, is it? Sorry about that. Oops. There it is. That's the best I can make it. Anyhow, but anyhow, promote the YouTube channel. That's the one that we want to expand. And Iris says, discuss. Yeah, okay, we did just say that. And we did talk about Liam. Steven says, I know, I will stop. Steven says, no, she called again, is what I was saying. She called again. Just tell her what you want. But I know the thing is, if you see, you got to make up your mind. Do you want to be with this girl or not? With all the things you know of her, and you know she's not reliable, and she knows she's a fuckhead, and she knows she's going to cheat again, and you know that you've already been too much of a pussy by allowing her to keep coming back. You know all that. So do you still, knowing what you know about her, would you choose her again? Not because there's nothing else around for you. Would you choose her again, whether you have other choices or not? Is that a good investment in your energy and your relationship? Can you count on this? Or going to be another roller coaster and up and down, and she's going to fly the coop and she's going to blame you, and you're a sucker to be blamed. Oh, you haven't changed. And that all it takes for you to feel, well, gee, I must be a bad person. Instead of focusing on your success, your job, your home, all the things you've provided, most people can't do that. And suddenly some shithead comes along just because she's got something that you want to, cuddle with. Suddenly she's what? Goddess of the world for what? And with that look, Jesus. Don't get the ugly stick. You've been away from it. You lost control. So make up your mind, and you should have made up your mind by now. And when you know that you don't want to have anything to do with this woman because she has already failed the test of being in a relationship with you, whether you guys were compatible or not, at least you could have properly discussed in a positive manner, in a productive manner, and dealt with things. But she was always trying to force and bully by going away and sleeping with somebody else and coming back. And why would you ever take a woman back when she leaves your bed and goes to somebody else's bed, has a relationship with them, sexual relationship, and comes back? Before you meet her, I don't care what the fuck she's done. It doesn't matter what every one of us have done. We are now together. But after that, our behavior could affect and should affect. If she goes somewhere else for companionship or sex, you should have enough balls to say that's the end of it because I've got standards. Otherwise, they'll shit on your head all the time because you're no longer a man, you're a toilet. Depends what you want to choose. You want to consider yourself as a toilet, then, because you have no standard and she's not abide by anything. And as long as she's not being shown any standards and expectations, all they think they're it. And you've made her to be it in your head. All these other girls available, you went for this one. Why? Because she was available, not because she was qualified. And you are lazy ass. You didn't want to go for something better, and you needed to provide that companionship that you were missing from your other ex. So you jumped in this one, and serves you right, because the whole problem is in your selection process. Your selection process stinks. So now you either want to learn from it, make up your mind that I don't want to be with this girl. So you just say, what are you calling me for? What do you want? You call bullshit about the dog's birthday, buy a cake for the dog, the puppy. Isn't that insane? As if the puppy wants, you want to bring a toy. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm the guy you were with. The dog came later. You left me and went and fucked with somebody else. And now you want to come back talking about you want to celebrate the puppy's birthday? Or you call me for what? What do you want? But you don't have that balls to ask this, do you? You just unblock her and block her. And then unblock her. Why? You're a healthy young man, successful in your rights, have a good job, good money, good home. Go find another girl. There's no, monopoly on women by her. Anyhow, enough of that. Make an appointment for, and pay me for the rest of the talks. Jesus Christ. And the channel has costs. John G says funny. Yes, thank you, John. John, don't forget the protocol. Age, gender, where are you tuning in from? And Tim Sub says, hi, Meran. I usually have no issues talking to girls, but this girl I really like much more than most. I feel unable to talk to her. Well, okay, don't. Some asshole looks like shit and behaves like shit is going to talk to her because he doesn't give a fuck, because he knows he's got nothing to offer, and she is going to eventually go with him because nobody else coming around her, because she's too good for you and the like of you to approach her. So she's going to choose somebody, whoever comes along, because the other people are scared of her because she's pretty or she's this and that. No, you just go and say what you want to say. Scared of what? What do you think she does? Bites you? Or she's what? She's an angel of God? She's still got to get up in the morning, stinky mouth, go shit and clean up herself. She's just another human being, needy as the rest of us, and challenged with the other life happenings like the rest of us. She has to work, she has to pay the rent, whatever it is. So what is it that makes her so frightening to you? It's not her that frightens you. It's your ego and desire for pleasure and fear of not getting what you want because you want to control the situation in life. Be free. Paddle your ship. If the water is calm, you paddle more. If it's not, you go to the shore. So be free. Go ask her out. Talk to her. Introduce yourself. See who she is. Not too big, not too fancy, just a hello. It doesn't kill you. And if she's so arrogant to reject you because of your courtesy, well, that already shows you she's not your cup of tea. All right. She says, I find it very annoying because I have never cared this much about someone I don't even know that well. Well, it's your desire for pleasure. And this is what has happened. You saw her And there are a couple of things about her that you like, whether it's her look, her hair, her nose, her smile, her body, her fitness, something about her you liked. That's the limit of your knowledge about her, right? But then again, our brain, not understanding anything, and our desire for pleasure and our ego gives her all kinds of other credentials that she doesn't even know she has, and she most probably doesn't have them. But you bestow upon her. You give it to her. Why? Because you are the best. You're the most important person in the world. And if the most important person in the world likes some girl's couple of qualities that she has, well, she's not exactly yet deserving you, because you're the most important person in the world. So you should have the most important person in the world as your girlfriend. So what do? You give her all the most important qualifications that you want your girlfriend to have in your mind with her, create an image of her in your mind about her, which most of the qualifications that you gave to that image, she doesn't have. But you gave it to her because you're the most important in the world, and you love yourself, and you know what you want, and she has a couple of qualities that she could have the structure to carry the rest of the qualifications, and you give that qualification to her, and suddenly she's now a perfect woman, but only an image. But you don't see the image, you don't care, you don't understand, because the brain cannot tell the difference between virtuality and actuality. And you simply change the actuality to a perfect virtuality, and brain is not capable to understand the difference, falls in love with that image that you gave it. And the brain makes you think you're now in love with this character as you have created it in your mind in actuality. So you actually start believing that her in actuality of life is exactly as you have created the image and qualifications you gave her in your brain and created that virtual image. You're now in love with that image. And that scares the hell out of you, because she's now perfect, because you gave her all the qualifications that you want your dream woman to have. Now you're scared to go forward. What if I mess it up? But if you would have let her be that couple of characteristics and qualifications that she had, limited to that, and let's find out if she has any more or not by her own way of showing you, not by simply creating that and giving all those qualifications to her in your mind about her, then you would be very easily ready and comfortable to go and talk to her. But you made her a big deal before she actually has a chance to show you if she is a big deal or not. So you're really in love with your desire, not her yet. So go on, diminish her to what she is, not what you have created of her in your brain, in your mind, and see, give her the opportunity to introduce herself to you, and you introduce yourself to her, interact. Otherwise, you will end up having a relationship between the images. What do I mean? Well, you have an image of yourself in your mind about yourself, and you create an image of the girl in your mind about her. And she creates an image of her about herself in her mind, and she has created or will create an image of you about you in her mind. These two images end up having a relationship, not you two. Later on, when you get a chance to get to know each other, you see, well, you don't measure up, you guys are not compatible, and you get surprised, you get frustrated, and say, how could it be 6 months down the road, we just find out that we got to break up? All along, because you have been having a relationship between the two images, not between you two. So stop making an image and start observing her, rather than giving her all these qualifications and having a relationship with your fictitiously created character. Give her the opportunity to let you know who she is, and be cordial in letting her know who you are by a natural and regular and simple interaction, rather than conclusions of she's this and I'm afraid to go forward. Hope that'll help you out. And I don't think you will find any of these things that we talk about in any other channel. So you guys better promote this channel to the hilt, otherwise we die, wither and die. And Esdor says, Mehran, I have a question. Is the heart foolish? No, heart is very smart. It's very compassionate and idealistic. So use the information the heart gives you and use the information that your awareness, not your brain, your awareness gives you, and then see what you get. So observe it with those two portals for information and understanding a situation. And Ira says, I'm now back from getting my tea. It's been on my mind of what to do, if anything. And like I said, I wanted to ask Nia, known as Theory, as I think he is a damned competent person. Thank you for seemingly doing a good job raising that. He seemed to have a good head on his shoulder. He does. And I bet that is from you. It's from him. And if you want to build your channel, I definitely suggest talking to him. Yeah, I'm not as efficient as he is in building channel. I'm as dumb as it comes. It says, and getting on his Theory Talks channel, maybe even on a weekly basis, I think that could get you a larger audience in these streams and could be a big help. I know on my question. Now on to my question. I had a bigger audience when I was actually doing the Saturday little shows for this Facebook page at 5 million subscribers, that Facebook page. And every time I was speaking, there was 500, 600, 700 people there. They were based in India, that company, but somehow their page got suspended because they had some kind of a copyrighted picture posted on it, and somehow it was continuous. So I lost that channel. But that was the beginning of my channel. It should have, by now, I should have had like 2,000-3,000 people showing up on the live stream. But it's not in the cards, is it? So we'll see what we can do. And let's see what your question is. And so before guys, I can only be here for another 15 minutes because I always see my mother at 4 o'clock at the care center. It takes me half an hour to get there. It's 3:09, so another 15 minutes, I'm gone. Let's see the questions that I have not answered, if I could. Dub 97, I'm a male 27 from California. How do you differentiate false and real attraction? I get these urges or sensations to smile around men. If I don't look at them in the face, this is how my HOCD started. It is feeling to smile when I don't want to. It's involuntary. That's an OCD smile. It's not that you're attracted to them. You, in your subconscious, in your consciousness, you feel like if I don't smile, then something may go wrong because you've regulated yourself. You have programmed yourself that you got to do this for things to be balanced. So it's got nothing to do with any attraction. And the fact that you think you're the top of the world, you're the, stud muffin, which we all think we are, then you may see another guy who may be a different look or maybe different good looking or have different kind of a fitness level or muscle, and that envy makes you pissed or anxiety that he has maybe more chances with the girls than you have. So he's actually blocking your chances when such thing exists. and it kind of gives you a feeling of not being enough because somebody else, while you thought you're the top dog, you have chance with all the girls, and you see somebody maybe fitter or better looking than you in your mind, and suddenly you feel anxiety about a threat. And that threat causes you to feel a certain kind of a respect in a way because you feel he's got a better chance with the girls. And that brings you the feeling of inferiority. And that causes you to think that inferiority is the same as submissiveness. And therefore, the rest of the domino effect of the intrusive thoughts takes place. So this needs a little bit rooted discussion. And I have videos on this, but you can find them. Otherwise, you can go and make an appointment on my YouTube, not YouTube, on the site, mind@6truth.com. And then we'll talk about what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. For an hour consultation, I'll give you another 20 to 30 minutes extra for the first time. So we'll have a comfortable time without rush. But this is I have many videos on this that you can choose, and you don't have to pay me to come and talk to me. But should you not have enough or not understand them, by all means, make an appointment. We'll discuss it. It's a very interesting understanding of the flow of the association of the words and feelings that leads to some intrusive thoughts that has nothing to do with you as a persona. It has to do with the brain's function and how brain associates words and feelings of anxiety, envy, and danger, and all that, ego, and so on, and turns it into something that is actually has got nothing to do with you. Your awareness knows what is a real attraction. What you question is what is the false attraction, because it's not normal to you, so you become aware. Awareness is only where there is a contradiction. There is no awareness if there is no contradiction. So when you become aware of a false attraction, that is why, because there is a contradiction between your values and your awareness and who you are, what you prefer, and what you've always been, your gender and everything, to the suggestion is made by the brain as far as the false attraction. And that has brought a question or awareness, an alarm or a notification that this is contrary to what always been comfortable for me, always been natural for me. And the fact that you notice that, that's the sign of a contradiction. And that contradiction tells you that this is not your preference, this is not your real attraction, this is a false attraction. So that's how you can differentiate it. The real attraction has no question. I see a girl with high heels and love it. I just enjoy it. I don't say, why is it there? What that feeling? But when there is a guy, let's say, that is good looking, and then the brain associates good looks or the good muscle with your muscle, because you make muscle to have, better performance with the girls and impressive girls, and you see the muscle somebody else is having, and you say, well, that's for the same reason, and the brain associates that muscle with sex, and suddenly you think you're thinking about sex is because you saw this guy. It's not. It's what the association of, let's say, the muscle, the good look, with the concept of sex brought in, and suddenly this whole thing got misunderstood by the brain or projected by the brain, suggested by the brain, totally unrelated to your preference. So these are all discussions that can take place around this topic, but unfortunately, I can't really continue too far in this. And Ira, looks like we need to let your question for the next time, because your tea took too long, and I need to get ready and go see my mom. And she expects me at 4, and she's 90 years old, and I don't want her to feel, left alone or, feeling neglected. And Esther says, I love you, Mary, thank you very much. I love you too. And let's see. Team Sub says, thanks, Mary. I really appreciate what you do. It helps me out more than you know. My pleasure. And Esther says, your channel is the best there is. I know, but nobody else knows. Only I know. It's up to you guys to promote the damn thing. Jesse says, I agree with Esther. You're still killing it, Mehran. Hope you're doing good. Thank you very much, Jesse. Always love to see you. Delighted that you're here. Hope you guys are taking good care of yourself. I love you all, and I hope that I can be of help to your lives and to your moods and to your well-being all the time, which is a wish that I actually did for myself, to be healthy for a long time, not just for you. And Esther says, Mehran, what did you find in your spouse that you recommend we should find in search of our future spouse? It's a very good question. Allow me to discuss this beautiful topic and question next time, because I want to elaborate on it rather than in 5 minutes going and trying to just say something. But in general, it's a beautiful topic because I love women. I appreciate women. I adore women. I think women are the most important thing on earth after many other things like family values and yourselves and health and all these other things. But you know what I'm saying. Women pretty much is what we men do. Anything that we do is for women. Yeah. And if you love women, if you appreciate women, then you will also look for the best qualities in women. And you just don't love them because they're female. You love them because they also bring to the table that cohesiveness, that centrality of the family, that values, that motivation, that softness, that kindness that you need with the rough world out there. A man comes home, sees his sweetheart, and just melts down and tries to recuperate in her presence, in her energy, in the cocoon that she has made that shields him from all that roughness out there that he has to fight, provide, and bring about the best version of himself and for the family. And it all happens in the presence and cocoon and the energy of a woman. So woman is very precious. So talking about her needs elaborations, and we can talk about it next time, Esther, when you're here. And Kamran Etemadi says, hi, Miran, male 25, Indiana. So what happens to our mind after going through your first breakup? Seems like we get a scarcity mindset and makes it really hard to move on. Well, I just have had another video loaded up just a few days ago on why you can't move on or why you don't want to move on. And these are beautiful topics and questions. These I'm really impressed and I appreciate it. And I love to talk about them because they're great. These are the kind of questions I want to hear. But unfortunately, guys, I got to mosey on. I don't want to leave my mom waiting. In care center alone, looking for me. I can imagine she's by now about to be stressed that where am I? And she's very attached to me. So I don't want to disappoint her. So I'm sure you all understand that. Esther says, true. He's so awesome, Jesse. Okay, guys, I have my promotional managers here, Esther and Jesse. And Majid is here. Says, Bah salam, thank you again, and good to see you. Good to see you too, Majid. Ira says the question will be a few consecutive messages, so feel free to read all in one go, and I'll know you have to leave soon. Have a good time with your mother. Okay, I'll read it, and make sure you guys show up next time when you see a live announcement coming in. So when I'm talking about your questions, you guys going to be there. And Steven says, have a good day, Mehran. And Ira, I will read the question as you put it in here a little later after I come back, maybe tonight. And then maybe I'll have maybe if it's, maybe I'll just, the next live stream, I'll share it with you. Okay. And Dub 97 says, yeah, my smile isn't normal. Smile where I'm able to control and want to smile. Yeah, okay. This happens out of nowhere. When I'm around men, I do not understand. Literally makes me feel and believe I'm gay. No, that's not. It's got nothing to do with your gender. It's got to do with all those things that we talked about briefly. And so hopefully you've heard it now. And Kamran says, no problem. Have a good evening, Mehran. Make sure you guys come back next time and ask the questions. And Dub says, hope your mom is well. Thank you very much, dear. And Iris says, no worries, Mehran. I hope I can catch you next time and resend the question. Yes, I'd appreciate that. All right. It's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here. Give me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I hope that you guys will have a wonderful the rest of the day or evening, wherever you are. Be good to yourself and to the others, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.
But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.